Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Tuesday the 16th of June. So it's a bit like the Karate Kid, risk off, risk on, risk off, risk on. It could have only been written by someone else, I think. Anyway, we're currently on the stage of risk back on, it would appear. Seeing yesterday's reaction to some more Fed spending, and well, we've seen a little bit of follow through from that this morning. And really, for the euro dollar, this is where I expected it last week. Yesterday, when we was looking at it, thought it might have had more downside, having watched the risk going back off and the money becoming tight. It looked like it may have had some more downside, but that daily 500's held, and where we're sitting at the moment then, well, it's pushed up, and it's pushed up largely through non-UK sessions. So it started pushing up properly from 5 o'clock yesterday in more significant terms, and it's pushed on through to where we are at the moment. Now, looking at this, well, we could just continue to the upside here. I would have liked to have seen the daily pivot seen as a correction, or maybe even a correction back to one of these moving averages, but for now it's just sort of sitting here. Already done a sizable chunk of the range it had done yesterday, so it, as I say, it looks like it's got more promise for upside. I'm looking at horizontal support and resistance, and well, there's a little bit by those bodies there that may have just sort of come into play, and there's some tails and bodies across from the left here, which may just be giving it a bit of resistance. But otherwise, it looks really that it could get back into the mix there as we go post 8 o'clock. Okay, my preference though, as I said, would be to see a retrace first. The pound. Okay, so the pound yesterday caught the upside as well, and we're seeing a push through here, running back into its daily 200s. It held it a few times, or twice at least, that we could see there, and it finally pitched through there, pulled back. It's back into that area as I speak. Is this a point of it's going to give a bit more of a retrace? We'll see. It's again got a daily pivot below, and that well could become a target on this. Sorry, I just pause this and reset the daily pivots, but they're about right anyway. So it's already into its R1 here again, just as the euro has. It's hit that level again. My preference would be for a proper retrace into this move to give us some potential if it's going to continue to the upside. But for now, I'm going to just have to wait. If it doesn't, if it just goes, it goes without me, I'm afraid. But it's looking like it's got that potential upside. If it showed post 8 o'clock that we were starting to get a bit of a sell-off, maybe I'd just join in to see if I could get back towards that daily pivot. The dollar yen, well, it's in no man's land. I mean, even yesterday it didn't really move too far at all. It chopped around for large parts of the day. We saw a little bit of a rally early hours of this morning there, I say of the dollar that is, as opposed to the yen, and the yen's gained back control, and well, it's not really doing too much chop and roll there really, but may help other pairings if you cross pairings. So you may look at some of the cross pairings that are looking for something a little bit less volatile than the US dollar at the moment. Okay, so that's the yen. Gaining ground slightly as I speak. Aussie dollar. So the Aussie dollar also caught the bounce in the end yesterday, and well, it's pitched up a bit this morning, but again, well, whether it could be that these markets are going to just roll now, but it's certainly pulled back, had a decent correction over the last 4 hours. So it's just ticked into 8 o'clock here, and we're just seeing it selling off back towards its daily pivot at this stage, and this is really what I was wondering we'll see on the other. So possible retrace there. I would be looking alongside it if it gives me a decent bounce off of something down here on the Aussie. It's one of my more favoured bullish currencies. So if this starts coming off and gives us a bounce off over the daily pivot, or runs through a little bit, I will look to see if I can catch, as I say, the long side, but I may just do it from a very simple trend line over the highs there. So I say over the highs, but over, well, over the highs of those bars that are coming down there, just very, very simply. So just watching for that. Okay, that's the Aussie dollar, and finally then the pairs here, Canadian dollar. Daily perspective, well, Canadian dollar, yep, shooting star in yesterday in the end, so gained back a bit of strength here. Then it's jumbled around a little bit. It's just on its looks like its weekly pivot there. Yep, into its weekly pivot, catching a bounce as I speak. Again, I just wonder if these markets will just roll back a little bit the way they're looking at the moment before maybe catching the bounce later. That would suit me fine on some of these, but so I am watching for the opportunities there. Here, well, it's already rolled back a little bit here. Whether it'll push on, we'll see. But all of them softened a little bit around that 4 o'clock bar. Okay, maybe some profit taking, maybe a bit of change of attitude. Okay, looking then at oil. So was looking yesterday at potential buy areas. We did catch a little bit of a bounce later on in the day there, but and it's actually pulled off the pivot at the moment. So it did actually break eventually through later in the day there, and it's pulling back. Maybe we've got some further upside. If we see the sort of risk back on sort of situation where people are happy to trade and invest, we'll see oil pushing back, maybe back towards that $40 sort of area. But just got to be a bit careful. But it's certainly picked up eventually yesterday and may have some more upside. Okay, that's oil and S&Ps. So the S&Ps, that's what caused the joy first thing. Again, we've seen this little red bar, bearish army effectively, and it may be that we'll see a bit more of a retrace on this market as well. And if we're going to see these retraces, as I say, it will make it a better place to be, because we just want to work off this sort of big movement and see then if we can get into a bounce and if it is actually going to go through. Proof in these higher lows just about on here, but I mean it went straight up and just carried on going. I was looking actually at the short side of it at one stage, but it just didn't stop and didn't get me in, so fortunately. But for now it's looking, well, as I say, like if we can catch a bounce, that would be marvellous on these markets, not just the S&Ps but the pound, the euro, etc. Okay, that's pretty much it for me from there. In terms of news, okay, so in terms of news, I haven't seen the comments from the Japanese press conference yet, so maybe that's why the yen's not just really doing too much at the moment, but I've not seen any comments from the Japanese press conference. I'm just having a quick look at headlines. In fact, there may be something starting to come out there now. I'm just having a quick look on my news service, but 7:30 that was due. Okay, oh right, big pardon, we do have some news there. Reiterates that view that the domestic economy is in a severe situation, will not hesitate to take more easy measures if needed. Okay, so it's just really more support behind it. There we go. There was very little else on that. It's just one liner. So that's that news out the way. So that's the central bank there, and then we got later on some US data. We got the core retail sales coming out. We'll see if that makes any difference. And we got the Fed Chair Powell testifying again this afternoon at 3 p.m. In front of the Senate Banking Committee. So bit of volatility possibly, as I say, 1:30, 3 o'clock. Okay, have a great day. Bye for now.